pass from Havili was magic. The shift on for Crotty. Boom, far down you go, Quackett Smith. Me, oh my, I have enjoyed that. Yes, boy.
Sit back, relax, put your belt on, enjoy the show.
The main course. Harry, this would be a time to get your finger on the button. It's the new hot shit. Excellent. The look, Harry's come on in leaps and bounds with the audio works here, so we'll see. You can enjoy us all having a laugh if you're watching this on YouTube, actually. So anyway, very good.
On the YouTube,
we are
on the YouTube's on the line as well. Nice. Well, let's get into it. Let's move on to the Aussie teams, the Brumbies, who you might not know in the Brumbies.
Look, for me, one guy that I am extremely excited about, Craigs, I know you're agreeing with me. We think it's going to be his breakout year. Nick Frost. He's 205 centimeters, 110 kilograms. He is a rangy lock that can, actually put on a bit of toe as well. 21 years old. The former Wallabies coach, Matt Williams, says he is the most talented 20-year-old lock since John Eales. In 2017, he went across to, that's a big call. Yeah, but 2017, he went across to the Crusaders development. Everyone in Australia ahed and oohed and booed.
I'm pretty sure his dad was head of Australian rugby retention at the time.
New South Wales or something. Yeah, I think it was New South Wales. And then in Brumby, and he played with the Aussie under-20s in the World Championships. That's when he returned. But look, he got a long-range try in that 2019 under-20s. That was something that really thrust his name into the limelight. He will most likely compete with Blake Enever. Who else do they have in the locks as well?
Blake Enever's gone.
Blake Enever's gone.
Yeah,
Blake, he never played again.
Swain, I think, are the two guys.
Caden Neville.
Caterin.
No, Caden Neville. Yeah, so look, I think we'll get to see him have a crack. It might actually be off the bench to start, but I'm going to put my money on he's topping Caden Neville before the end of the year.
Yeah, no, I definitely put huge props on him. He's someone who I think I see as a Wallabies lock in a couple of years. I think he's extremely athletic, got a lot of skills, and last year he kind of just felt becoming an athlete first. So they filled out his frame, put him through a proper year of a gym program. He's got a lot bigger, and now this year I think he'll get much more of an opportunity.
He's definitely got a giraffe running style on him. I don't know what it is.
I think you'll be surprised. He's filled out a lot more. So I think he might have slowed down a little bit, but I'm still really excited about him. So the two they have a couple of really dynamic locks. Darcy Swain and him are going to be really good, but they can back that up with the big Caden Neville, as Harry likes to call him. Harry, who have you got?
Mate, Jerome Brown, 2019, he got his chance, and I just thought he was an absolute weapon. His work rate was through the roof as a fantasy player. If he's starting, I'll be honest, I'm going to pick him a lot earlier than I think most people would. He's Kiwi born.
That's why you're going to pick him.
He's definitely
under 20s for 2 years. New Zealand under 20s 2 years, absolutely.
Yeah, but look, his main competition is Tom Cusack. We didn't see him last year. I heard on the Ruck and Maul podcast the Pick and Drive podcast, apologies, that Scotty CEO was saying it was because he had a few issues with COVID and his family being in New Zealand, some personal issues, which kind of ruled him out. But by all accounts, a lot better this year. There's a couple of guys that have retired. Will Miller's retired. Lachlan McCaffrey's no longer with the side. I'm not sure where he's gone. So there really is a lot less competition for that open side flanker jersey. And I think he's a big pick. I think he could be a starter. And if he is, he may be worth the Michael Hooper-esque kind of fantasy points.
Do you see him as a flanker? An open side flanker?
100%.
Yeah. I always thought him as more of a blind side.
No, he's an open side. He's just a work rate.
All right. Exciting. Very good. All right. And players are we on players you might not know, or you might still know players? Lachlan Lonergan, the guy who, look, only a couple of years ago, I was saying still looked a little bit like a fetus. He has matured a lot, but look, really skillful rugby player. Very promising scrum half. He has shown. So last year he got a good couple of cracks, and we actually talked him up a bit last year because he was starting for the NRC team down in Canberra and was playing really, really well. He's certainly got some competition. Who is he? He's got Nick White and is it Isaac Fines ahead of him? Is it them?
Cargie, mate, come on. Not Ryan Lonergan. It's his brother Lachlan
The
Lonergan.
hooker, mate. Read the notes.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off here. Lachlan Lonergan, under 20s hooker, absolute weapon. There's a couple of young hookers over there. Obviously, Connell McInerney was in the squad as well as a developing hooker for Laufinga as well.
Pollard.
And Billy Pollard, who's a lot younger. He's a year younger again. But at 20 years old, the raps on this guy is massive. He got a few games last year. I remember his first start. He turned over a ball and basically helped the Brumbies win the game late in the match. So he's just a freakish talent. And God, I really hope with Australia struggling to find world-class hookers, that this could be a guy that we fast-track through. There's competition out of every club he could be at. This is probably the worst one at the Brumbies for him to be at. But very talented guy.
I think
he's certainly much more exciting than Ryan Lonergan. So I'll take that back.
Ryan Lonergan's not a bad little halfback, but look, I reckon you've potentially
terrible
got
hooker though.
Yeah, it's horrible hooker. You've probably got three. It's big call, but 3 Wallabies hookers out of these 4 for the Brumbies. We won't go into too much time into Billy Pollard, but he's another very exciting, talented young hooker who a lot of NRL teams are trying to get. He's an exciting player for me. Look, the guy I'm going to throw out there, Reece-Jan Pasatoa, 20-year-old, the WA-born Queensland Schools prodigy. This guy is an exciting talent. Look, he got selected for the Brumbies, got his contract in year 11. He made his debut at only 18 years old with the ability to play both 10, a fly half or inside centre. He's another bigger bodied, fly half inside centre. And look, he's got the Wallabies written all over him for me. It's going to be a good time to see him get a crack this year. He has obviously stiff competition in that 10 and 12 jerseys. But look, he got his debut last year. I'd love to see him in that 12 jersey. Mind you, I do love Ore Simone, but look, he is an exciting player and write his name down for a future star.
Just expecting more minutes from him, I guess. He's probably not going to be the Mr. Consistency, but if you could pick him up as a smoky 1 week of a fantasy footy, it might be a good shout.
Look, I think if you see Ore Simone go down, he's your man.
Yeah. For sure. I saw him play a few Brumbies B games last year, and he is lightning. He is very exciting.
Yeah.
Len Ikitau, a player that I think we will see with the departure of the choo-choo to Vito Kurandrani. I think we're going to see Len Ikitau fill that 13 jersey and really make it his own. So I think he's showed a lot of promise. He was with the Wallabies squad and played in a lot of those trial games, games against Argentina, things like that. And he's come on in leaps and bounds. He's really developing into a good player. So I think he's going to have a big year for Len Ikitau. And another player, the last one for the Brumbies, Mac Hansen. So we saw him thrust into the team at fullback in the last season, and he was pretty electric, wasn't he? They have Tom Banks, a pretty dynamic fullback, but if Mac Hansen gets some opportunities, he can play 10 and 15. So he played a bit of fly half. He was really, really good.
Yeah, when he had his crack last year, he was quite an exciting player. Obviously, another stiff competition there for him, but an exciting young player coming through.
13 carries, 9 tackle busts in his first game ever.
How good. All right. The Waratahs, let's do it. The even younger team than the Reds. How can you believe it? I
might rattle through the you might knows, all right? First of all, I'm going to take this one off you, Cargie, because you will butcher it.
Thank you.
Mark Nwanganitawase. 20 years old. He was absolutely electric at the start of last year. He's 190 centimeters tall, 97 kilos, got a gigantic vertical jump as well. Everyone was calling him like the Israel Folau-esque kind of outside back winger in terms of how he takes a high ball. And I think we got to see a lot of that athleticism last year. He did fall out of favor through the year. because he had some issues around his defense and just been not quite up to the physicality of professional football. He's had a big off season. I feel like he's had a very good opportunity, to be honest, to learn his lessons around that and to try and fix that. And if he can, Nwangana Dewasi could be one of those outside backs that are in the top 10 for the competition. He is that good in attack.
Sure, it was that and a result of James Ram really playing super well, so you couldn't drop him. But Mark's first game, all you need to know was 2 tries against the Crusaders in Super Rugby.
Exactly right. The other 2, Angus Bell, I won't talk about him much because he obviously made his Wallabies debut last year. Yeah, that's right. I think it was Morgan Turinui was saying that he wouldn't be surprised if he was the Waratahs captain this year in his second year of professional football because he's so bloody good. He's not, but he should be. And he's just an absolute freak. And if you're looking for props that can get running points, with Tom Robinson going, he will start every week. He's a freak. Pick him up immediately. Can't beat him.
Look, the last one there that you might know, Isaiah Parisi. Look, he's 23 years old. This guy bumps people at a standstill. He's standing still. People are running at him and he bumps them off. He was absolutely just a dynamic, scary player for the Reds when he was quite young, selected into the Wallaby squad as well. Had a few issues mentally, losing the love for the game, went across the league, has found his way back through different circumstances, this time with the Waratahs giving him a crack. This is a player that you should be excited for. I think he will get a start, and I think he has fantasy footy written all over him.
And the other thing is at outside centre. We saw him a lot at wing when he first had his run with Queensland, so he should get hopefully a few more touches in the centres.
I agree. Just give him the ball.
Very good. All right, players you might not know. I'll let you guys discuss this, but 2 players that are competing for the number 7 jersey at the Tars, Charlie Gamble and Carlo Tizzano.
Yeah, look, they both took very different pathways to the Waratahs. Charlie Gamble is a 24-year-old, played at the Crusaders Academy, lost his way, went across to Petersham Rugby in subbies. We all know how good of a competition that is. Then went across into Easts and now has played a bit of time in the NRC and is at the Waratahs. Absolutely exciting player. Carlo Tizzano is a young WA product. I've heard people say he's Liam Gill-esque, but for me, he's got a high work rate. He's had a couple of chances.
The same headgear, but
yeah, mainly that. But look, I heard a quote from him where he said, "I got sick of players running away from me and not into me." I absolutely love this guy. He is set to just destroy people when he gets the chance. But both of these guys equally have an ability to.
And so what did you guys were thinking that Carlo Tizzano will come out on top of that battle? That's your early thoughts?
We're not 100% sure, to be fair. It's quite hard.
The biggest issue is neither of them have got game time. Obviously, Michael Hooper's not there. The Waratahs are an ultra young team. So Charlie Gamble just been a few years older, may even just get it purely based off that extra life experience, to be honest. But the beautiful thing about this is we're going to see AU round 1's lineups before it starts, and I'm going to pick the guy that starts.
The other person that's going to throw a spanner in that is you could see Dempsey playing open side, and we see Will Harrison, the under-20s number 8, who pushed Harry Wilson into number 6. This guy is going to be an exciting player as well. He's 194 centimeters, 105 kgs. It's his first year in the full rostered squad rather than the extended squad. But look, I think he's an outside chance to get a crack, but he's an exciting player as well.
I don't reckon he's an outside chance. I reckon he's a solid chance. He's a freak.
Well, one of these 3 players.
He absolutely is. We were after the Waratahs all last year saying he has to at least be on the bench. So look how well Harry Wilson's doing. This guy was ahead of him. So if he's not on the bench this year, then I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get his chances. That's for sure. He didn't, in his limited chances, didn't stamp his name into that side last year, but hopefully he does this year.
All right, last player we'll talk about Sam Caird. Young lock has come across from New Zealand, played for the New Zealand under-20s in 2017. He's played a bit for Northland, was in the Blues squad in 2020, but didn't play. The Waratahs need some locks. Thank God we've got rid of Ted Flanagan and I'm not going to say his name, but Captain Mudd. So look, anyone is going to be better. And he's competing with old man fisherman Sam Wykes. So
And look, I think he's going to hopefully fill that bigger, rougher bodied role in the locks that the Waratahs have been aching for quite some time. So I'd expect to see him start and give it a fair crack.
I can't see myself saying I wish we had Ted Flanagan or Captain Mudd back. That's all I'm saying. So, yes. All right, the Rebels. Let's get this party going. Who might we not know or might we know rather in the Rebels?
I'm just going to start up the hype train for this one because we got Trevor Hosea and Pony Fa'a Mausuli. Hosea is only 21 years old. He got his start last year and started to make a bit of a name for himself, and we were really impressed. I think he might have been Wallabies squad as well.
He was, yeah.
203 centimeters tall, 115 kilo, big unit. He's got a bit of pace about him as well. But I mean, the biggest thing is Matty Phillip and Luke Jones are both gone from the Rebels. So crazily, at 21 years old, he's going to be their rock solid experience lock in my eyes, and I expect him to start more or less every single game. And I expect him to be bloody good as well. And I think he'll go lower than he probably should in the fantasy draft as well.
I don't think so.
Pone, I mean, if you need anything from a guy that can play number 8 as well, and I mean, we've talked about this before, but he's 130 kilos, 6'5". He's now without a doubt the first choice prop for the Rebels as well. So he should be playing pretty much every minute, I would have thought, for them. And hopefully back into the game once or twice, you might see him slide into the number 8 role if we're really lucky. That's what I want to see. They haven't got that many good loose forwards anyway, so that's what I'm expecting. But mate, he's a freak, and another Australian prop that is mobile, breaks tackles, scores tries. Can't wait.
Did you see his dimensions yet? His size? 130 kilos, 6'5". It needs to be said again.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's right. He's not a basketball center. He's a prop / number 8.
Very good. Nelson, who might we not know in the Rebels?
Look, I'm going to start off with a guy that I'm super excited about, Jarrell Skelton. Francisco mentioned him as well, wanted to know what we see him doing. Look, he's 22 years old. He's made his pathway through the sevens. He's 191 centimeters, 85 kilos, but he just seems like he's a lot heavier than that. You know, he's seems like he's quite a physical player for me. Harry reckons he's fat. That's not what I'm meaning. But look, he's a dynamic, really good, talented back rower that, you know, we know can run with ball in hand. He's a distant cousin of Will Skelton. That sounds good too. And Peter Beethan.
The big issue for him is how much time does he put into the 15s game this year, and does he have to disappear to chase his Olympic dream?
Yeah, my opinion was I thought he was mainly focused on 15s. I might be wrong, but I thought he was mainly focused on 15s. But look, he still has those ambitions to play Olympics. I don't think the Olympics are going ahead this year, so we might be able to see him in the back row. I mean, that's the big theory at the moment.
Very good. And Nels says another sevens player as well.
Yeah, Louis Holland. He's 27-year-old. He's not a young player, obviously, but he's the ex-Australian Sevens captain. He's a playmaker, plays, 10, could play inside centre. Who knows, probably could play fullback as well. But he's their record holder for the Aussie Sevens as well, with 114 tries. That doesn't sound correct, but it is actually that good from 233 caps. But look, he has an amazing pass on him. He's quick, he's agile, he knows how to find space. He's an exciting player.
And Andrew Deegan and Bill Meeks both gone. That means that it's pretty much just Matt Tamua that's an established 10 or 12 option in that team. So Louis Holland could find himself in a pretty important position for that side.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously the other person that could fill that's Reece Hodge. They've got a couple other young guys, which one of them we're going to mention, but he definitely has an ability and the chance this year, I think.
Yeah, I actually wasn't going to mention him. Carter Gordon was the other one, so I will mention him now. I don't believe that he will fulfill his destiny. But having said that, there's obviously been big raps on him from the Reds. He's been poached by the Rebels. 19 years old now, seen as a future star. 2017, I think he was playing under 16s Queensland Schoolboys, and 2017 as well. So he's played a couple of years there. He's then played a couple of years through the Schoolboys grades as well, so kind of making those representative teams very early on. He's been in a big battle with players like Rishan Pasatoa, Will Harrison as well.
He's a bit younger than Rishan Pasatoa, if we put it into...
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, he's played alongside Joey Walton as well, a couple of other, Billy Pollard, Will Harris. So there's a lot of stacked names around him. There's a lot of hype, but still quite young and competing with the likes of Lewis Holland, I guess. So not too much in front of him.
We were saying a lot last year, like they need to get the Sevens boys into the team at the Rebels, and I think the only guy they got on was Tom Pinkin or whatever, who was a Sevens guy from. Did he play for Australia or did he play overseas in Sevens?
I don't know, man. I don't want to spend any more time on him, to be honest.
Great. Let's move on to the Queensland Reds. Super Rugby Trans-Tasman competition winners 2021. No, possibly. We'll see.
Yeah.
Players you might know. Really simply, Jordan Bataya, Fraser McWright, and Harry Wilson.
We need to go into those three.
You might know these players because they're probably the ones we talked the most about last year. Fraser McWright, we don't get through any episode of a podcast without some lengthy discussion about Fraser McWright, whether he was playing or not. Just it's what happens.
He made his debut.
Despite trying to,
he is better than him. Nelson is better than Fraser McWright.
No,
whilst trying to swiftly move on, I don't think I'll be able to without addressing some of these guys' stats. Guys, all right, hit us with the stats. Harry Wilson, Fraser McWright, real quick.
Okay, so Fraser McWright obviously didn't start as a starting player for the Reds, but still he had, as an open side flanker, 64 runs, which is a carry every 10 minutes, and 80% tackle rate with 97 tackles. And that's one every 6 minutes as well. So he came 9th in Super Rugby AU. He also had 18 turnovers in his 10 games, which I think was first, 12 tackle busts and 10 line breaks as well. So kind of working hard on both sides of the ball.
I think it was definitely first for Pilfers. I think it was a long way ahead.
Yeah. And then Harry Wilson, who is just, I mean, if you don't know him, you're probably not listening to this podcast. But he came second in AU for carries, 112, and first for tackles at 120, 89% as well. So if you're looking at work rate, he is number one.
Yep, that's fair.
And he was not only incredible for the Reds all year, he was then incredible for the Wallabies as a, 20 years old? Jesus. So then we say you might, obviously you know them. We expect massive years from them. Fraser McWright particularly, he wasn't starting in every game as they were kind of working out their team list, but we expect him to be starting.
He's starting week in, week out.
Absolutely. Players you might not know. Harry Hoopert, look, you may or may not have heard of him. We reckon he'll be starting. He's a pretty agile and exciting prop. Is he as exciting as Taniela Tupou? Probably not, but look, makes a lot of tackles, a lot of runs. So gets a lot of points for a prop. And now that he will be having consistent game time, certainly a really good fantasy option. And look, I'll talk about only one more. I'll leave some players here, but Baby Thor, Zane Nongor. I mean, look, how much do I love Taniela Tupou? And now we've got to back up Taniela Tupou. I mean, can you really get any better than that? I don't know.
Of course, that's the one that you picked, mate. I'm excited about it as well.
You all thought I was picking this next one, but I'm leaving.
The most obvious one was Suliasi Vunivalu, the Melbourne Storm NRL winning winger, who is an absolute freak of nature.
Mm-hmm.
For the NRL, he's already had 111 caps and 86 tries. He's Fijian born, grew up playing Super Rugby.
Super Rugby.
Yeah, he basically did. Playing rugby union over in Auckland as well. His sheer pace, athleticism, vertical jump is just freakish. He's trying to learn as much as he can off Marika Koroibete, but they're just saying the Reds players are saying, as soon as he's in open space, just shut the gate. Like you are not tackling him.
Yeah. He'll be starting on the wing all year, basically.
He will be starting the wing all year. The slight difference with Koroibete obviously grew up playing rugby as well, but it was only recently that he was playing rugby in New Zealand and seen as an absolute future star. It hasn't been that long he's been out of the game. I think he's going to make a huge impact from early on in the season.
Very good. And Nels, do you want to take quickly? There's two more players in the backs.
Look, the first one's Matt Greeley. We've already heard that he is the Kalen Ponga. If you watch the NRL of rugby union, or Tim
Horan.
He's been quoted as Tim Horan-esque. He is an exciting fullback that is going to come through. There's a lot of competition again there with the Reds for him. We'll probably see him get a little bit of a chance. I don't think we'll get to see too much game time.
He reminded me a lot of Jock Campbell, to be honest.
Yeah, similar style. He's got a very good step on him. He's really quite quick. He does have a pretty decent pass and things.
If he's half as good as how much he's been talked up, then he's a gun. So
look, he's still very young, but he's an exciting player for the future. Another one is Josh Fluke. He actually made his debut last season. He's coming back after a shoulder surgery. He is an outside centre. Was, I think, Australian Schoolboys in 2019 and still made his debut last year. He is an exciting player coming through. Again, there's a little bit of competition there, but it looks like they've elected to keep him in the side rather than Chris Faiwai-Sortia, which is a pretty big call. So there's big raps on him coming through.
Excellent. All right, Western Force. Who really cares?
Mate, don't say that. We are not on board with you. Just if you want to hate on West Australia, which we absolutely love, you can do that. But do not get us. But if you have complaints, it's davidcargie@hotmail.com. Send them through to that.
Do you reckon, are they going to win a game this year? All right. Moving on. They've got players you might know. Rob Kearney has flown in for a holiday over in Western Australia. Bit of sun that he's missed his entire life up there in the Northern Hemisphere.
Thanks, mate. Seriously, buddy.
He'll be good.
What are you doing?
We have the Pumas players coming across: Thomas Kubeli, Thomas Lozana, Madrano, Domingo Miotti. Those are some pretty big name signings, and you'd expect them all to be starting all season. So they will enormously bolster the force. And then players you might not know. Guys, do you want to smash through those?
Yeah, look, I think the first one we're going to mention is Tim Anstey, Aussie Sevens gun. He was part of the Horned Army, which is, he's just a good bloke all round.
That's the support group for the Greater Western Sydney Rams, for the record.
That we made and made horns for. Is really sad. But look, he is a blindside flanker lock. He's a dynamic player. He works very hard. In my eyes, he's probably a little bit short for that second row role. I think he's perfect for number 6. So it'll be interesting to see what chance he gets this year. The other story for me is Jake McIntyre, who came across. He said he sort of was, a bit disenfranchised, everything that happened in Australian rugby. Thrust in a little bit early, didn't get the support he needed in the Queensland Reds. A story we hear a lot of in Rugby Australia, and he's come back to, make amends and really prove what he can do, only to be able to have Domingo Miotti thrown in front of him, in the 7th hour, making it a bit hard for him. But hopefully we're going to see him have a bit of a crack.
Yep. And John O'Lance is still there as well. So,
He is.
I don't think they're going to want to throw intercepts this year, so they probably won't pick John O'Lance.
You mean they want to win a game, is what you're saying? Okay. All right. That will conclude our main course. Action!